Perfect Superstar Chapter 903 to Chapter 911. February 14, Valentine's Day, Beijing Olympic Sports Center. Starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, traffic control was implemented on the roads around the Olympic Sports Center. Many traffic police appeared on the often congested sections, directing the traffic to pass in an orderly manner, and conducting safety checks on some vehicles. Under normal circumstances, such a situation means that the Olympic Sports Center is about to hold a major international competition, and the security measures inside and outside the center and around the venue will be upgraded a lot. But there is no competition in the Olympic Sports Center tonight, but Lu Chen's first solo concert will be held. Because of the large number of people who came to watch, Xianxia Media applied to the relevant departments in advance and got approval and assistance. When night slowly fell, the large square in front of the Olympic Sports Center was already crowded with people. The fountain in the square spewed out columns of water, reflecting colorful light under the illumination of the night lights. A huge advertising curtain with an area of more than 1,000 square meters fell from the top of the circular arc of the central venue. In the picture, Lu Chen stood in front of the microphone with a guitar in his arms, with a faint smile on his face, and thousands of roses bloomed behind him. The three-dimensional title of Lu Chen's solo concert of Xianxia Automobile's A Lifetime of Love was particularly eye-catching under the spotlights. As the leader of the domestic car industry, Xianxia Automobile has always had a good relationship with Lu Chen, who is also the spokesperson of Xianxia Automobile, with an endorsement contract signed until 2020. Although Lu Chen has earned astronomical remuneration for ordinary people through this endorsement contract, Xianxia Automobile has also reaped double returns with the help of Lu Chen's healthy image and huge popularity. Therefore, they beat many competitors at all costs and won the naming right of Lu Chen's national concert tour. Although the naming fee has not been announced, there are rumors in the industry that it is more than 100 million yuan. This is really amazing. It should be known that Lu Chen's national tour has a total of 8 stops, including Beijing. On average, Xianxia Automobile has to pay more than 10 million yuan for naming fees for each concert. Many first-tier and second-tier stars may not even have that much advertising fees in a year, but for Lu Chen's fans, it didn't matter who the title sponsor was. They didn't care about the title sponsorship fee. After waiting for 4 years, these mourning fans had finally waited for this moment. As for Lu Chen's first concert in Beijing, it also received the attention of various parties. Basically, all the major media outlets involved in the entertainment industry sent their reporters to interview and film the concert. Some of the media outlets even had quite a strong lineup. From the ticket gate in front of the stadium to the square, there were many reporters filming, and the place where most of the cameras were gathered was undoubtedly the VIP passage, which was heavily protected. Because tonight, more than half of the entertainment circle had come, according to the usual practice. When the tickets for tonight's concert were sold online, Xianxia Media held back some of the VIP tickets and gave them to their partners and friends association units. There were almost 1,000 tickets in this part. Beijing Television, Zhidong Satellite TV, Haijin Satellite TV, Shonan TV, Crown Pictures, Land Pictures, Flying Stone Records, QQ Music, Waves, and so on, all have different numbers of tickets. In addition, Lu Chen's and Xianxia's friends in the circle also received free tickets. These tickets were extremely popular, especially in the entertainment circle in Beijing. Many star artists who got tickets showed off their shows on blogs, and there were also rumors that several small stars in a certain company had fallen out because of the distribution of free tickets. In fact, Lu Chen basically didn't know these star artists. At most, they had met and shook hands on certain occasions, or had a few polite conversations. But they were all proud to attend Lu Chen's concert as VIP guests. Someone deliberately counted on the Waves blog, and then counted many people who didn't show off their tickets but would definitely come to support. Finally, they came to the conclusion that at least half of the entertainment circle would be gathered at the Olympic Sports Center tonight. However, no one would be surprised or incredulous by this, because now Lu Chen was not only the most valuable and popular top star in the entertainment circle, but he also had the magic power to turn stone into gold. He was very influential in the circle. How many people wanted to take advantage of this hot spot? Therefore, a large number of media came to compete for the news. Starting from 6 o'clock, luxury cars with special passers-by stopped in front of the square. Star artists got out of the cars and entered the venue through the VIP passage. Although the concert in the evening was not a film or music award ceremony, and there was no red carpet or signature wall, the star-studded scene was no worse than any grand ceremony. It also attracted the paparazzi and entertainment reporters on both sides of the passage to go crazy, and the flashes went on and off one after another. Chen Guizhi came, Tan Hong came, Lu Gangxing came, Shifang also came, Liao Jia, Xu Jing, MSN Group, Little Tigers Group, the Bionics, North Needle Band, one big star after another, all of them were demonstrating Lu Chen's strong network. However, these friends of Lu Chen in the circle all declined the on-site reporters' interviews and directly entered the venue without stopping. The reporters had to turn their attention to other stars. Fan Qi, can I ask you 2 questions? Mr. Wang Jicheng, did you come from Taiwan? Li Wei. Let's take a photo. These second and third tier star artists and singers were very good at giving face to the reporters. They either stopped in the passage to pose for photos, or walked to the side to talk to the interview microphone. I'm a fan of teacher Lu Chen. I've liked him since his first song. The artist who was being interviewed by EasyNet Entertainment reporters was Gan Yingying, a film and television star who had recently debuted. She did not hide her love and admiration for Lu Chen. I'm very lucky to be able to come to the Olympic Stadium tonight to watch teacher Lu Chen's concert. I'm really happy. The reporter asked, if you meet Lu Chen later, what will you say to him? Gan Yingying said with a smile, I will first ask teacher Lu Chen for an autograph, and then wish him a successful concert. The reporter asked again, anything else? If there is, she thought for a moment and said, I hope that one day, I can cooperate with teacher Lu Chen once. Then I won't have any regrets. The same scene was playing out in different places in the VIP passage. Not far away, the 10 ticket checkpoints that were opened at the same time had long been lined up. Countless fans were holding tickets and identity cards, anxiously waiting to enter. Outside the venue, there were many fans. Some of them didn't have tickets, but they just came here to experience it. It was like a pilgrimage. At 7:10 in the evening, in the VIP lounge of the Olympic Sports Center, it was like another world. The thick walls blocked all the noise from the outside world, making the room with fashionable decorations very quiet. On the black coffee table, there was an exquisite tea set, and the faint fragrance of tea wafted in the air. Lu Chen and Chen Fei are snuggled up to each other on the soft sofa, quietly enjoying their time alone. Are you nervous? Chen Fei put her face on Lu Chen's shoulder and asked with a chuckle, my first solo concert. Lu Chen thought for a moment and replied, a little bit, not as nervous as I expected. It feels like I'm going to participate in an important ceremony to fulfill my wish. As he said this, he turned his head and kissed Chen Fei's face. Happy Valentine's Day. Where's the gift? Chen Fei asked impatiently, only a bouquet of flowers? This morning, Lu Chen gave her a bouquet of roses, and now the bouquet of flowers was placed in the lounge. Of course, Chen Fei didn't really care what gift Lu Chen gave her. A bouquet of flowers or a single flower, as long as it could represent the sincerity, was enough. She deliberately asked this question to attract the mood, and also to distract Lu Chen's attention and let him relax. In terms of holding a concert, Chen Fei's experience could beat Lu Chen's in seconds. Lu Chen said with a smile, of course not, but it's a secret for the time being. I'll give it to you later. Humph. Chen Fei rolled her eyes at him proudly and pulled out a long box from under the coffee table in front of her. This is my gift to you. I put more effort into it than you, right? Lu Chen was more or less surprised, and immediately said with a smile, thank you, wife. The box was really big, and it was wrapped in colored paper, so it was not clear what was inside. Chen Fei said happily, open it and have a look. Lu Chen nodded and immediately tore open the wrapping paper. Inside was a guitar case. The golden emblem on the surface of the case didn't belong to any famous brand, but Lu Chen, who had a deep understanding of guitars, recognized it at a glance. It was the exclusive logo of the master luthier Prandello. Prandello was the best guitar maker in the world. It would take him a few months to half a year to make a guitar. If it was a custom-made one, it would take even longer. Prandello's handmade guitars were seen as treasures in the industry. Many big names in the music industry were proud to own one of his guitars, but it was not easy to order one. You couldn't buy one even if you had the money. Lu Chen didn't expect Xianxia to give him a handmade guitar as a gift. He almost couldn't wait to open the guitar case. A velvet-wrapped guitar appeared in front of him. It was breathtakingly beautiful. Lu Chen had played with a Plandello guitar before, but compared to this one, it was much worse. It was definitely a work of art that could make lovers go crazy. Xianxia leaned against Lu Chen and said, "I ordered this the year before last. I just got it last month. Do you like it?" Lu Chen answered without hesitation, "I like it." Compared to the guitar, he liked Xianxia's sincerity and care for him more. With a wife like this, what more could he ask for? Xianxia smiled, "As long as you like it. Hurry up and try the sound." Lu Chen rubbed his hands, "I'm a bit reluctant to take it out. Many people bought Plandello's works for collection. Occasionally, they would play with it carefully. Very few people actually played with it. But this actually went against the purpose of an instrument, because an instrument was used to perform." Lu Chen took out the guitar and tried the feel and sound. Sure enough, it was impeccable. "Then I'm going to use this guitar to sing a song tonight, ta-ta." Right at this moment, someone knocked on the door of the room. Lu Chen and Xianxia looked at each other and smiled. Lu Chen put the guitar back in the case and said loudly, "Come in." One of his assistants opened the door but didn't come in. He stuck his head out and said, "Brother Chen, it's almost time." Lu Chen nodded, "Got it." When the assistant closed the door again, Xianxia kissed Lu Chen gently and said, "Go ahead, I'll be here watching you. Perform well." Lu Chen opened his arms and hugged his girlfriend. Then he got up and left the lounge. His moment of glory was about to arrive. At this moment, in the main stadium of the Olympic Sports Center, more than 80,000 seats were full. Countless enthusiastic fans held up support sticks and fluorescent signs. The bright light was brighter than the stars in the sky. Tonight's concert officially started at 7:30. Now it was 7:25. The audience began to get excited. No one knew who started it, but the whole stadium was filled with cheers. Lu Chen! Lu Chen! Lu Chen! Everyone couldn't wait to see Lu Chen appear on stage. As time went by, the cheers didn't stop. Instead, they became louder and more enthusiastic. Lu Chen, those fans who liked Lu Chen seemed to want to vent the emotions they had been waiting for 4 years. At this time, it made the concert that hadn't officially started reach a climax. At 7:29, the lights on the stage suddenly dimmed, and the smoke machines around the stage released a large amount of dry ice-white fog. The giant LED screen that served as the background of the stage, as well as the 3 screens suspended in the air, showed the countdown at the same time. 20, 19, 18. The cheers of the audience turned into a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. 0. The whole stadium suddenly became extremely quiet. Time seemed to freeze at this moment. Only the gentle strumming of the guitar quietly passed into everyone's ears. That was such a familiar melody. In the center of the stage, the lifting platform that had sunk below slowly rose and a spotlight suddenly fell. It shrouded Lu Chen. Lu Chen was wearing a pair of worn jeans and a t-shirt worth at most 20 to 30 yuan. He sat on a stool with a guitar in his arms, facing the microphone and camera with a faint smile. In his first solo concert, Lu Chen gave everyone a big surprise. His clothes were simple to the extreme. He didn't look like a billion-dollar superstar at all, but an unknown, drifting singer who struggled and worked hard at the bottom of society. Tian, that's right. Only those who were Lu Chen's first and most hardcore fans understood that Lu Chen's outfit was exactly what he looked like when he sang in the bar and on the live platform. As time went by, his original intention didn't change. No matter how the world changed, he was telling everyone. Lu Chen was still the same Lu Chen, and the song that touched countless people and was sung by countless people today. Tomorrow, will you remember the diary you wrote yesterday? Tomorrow, will you still remember the you who loved to cry the most? The teachers can't remember. When the familiar voice sounded, countless fans were moved, especially those who loved folk songs. They couldn't help humming along. This song could almost represent an era in the music industry. Who married the sentimental you, who read your diary, who tied up your long hair, You Who Sat Next to Me was Lu Chen's famous work, a representative work of campus folk songs. This song was first sung by Lu Chen in Forget Grass Bar, and then appeared on the live broadcast platform. Many fans knew about Lu Chen through this song, got to know Lu Chen, and fell in love with Lu Chen. In their hearts, Lu Chen would always be the young singer wearing jeans and a t-shirt, holding a rosewood guitar in his arms, playing and singing by himself, gentle and handsome, with the sunshine of the boy next door. Just like Lu Chen sitting on the stage at this moment. Time passed, and nothing seemed to have changed. Those little bits of beautiful memories floated in people's hearts, making them cry unconsciously. You used to be very careful, asking me to borrow half an eraser, and you once accidentally said that you liked me. Some people had already shed tears, for the lost youth, for the lost first love. Lu Chen's singing weakened, and the chorus of the audience was like a surging tide, one wave higher than the other. This was the most emotional opening. La la la, when Lu Chen finished humming the last line, the song reverberating in the main venue of the Olympic Sports Center turned into cheers and applause. Everyone clapped desperately. Other than that, there was no other way to express their inner feelings. Lu Chen put down the guitar, which was given to him by Lu Shui for his 18th birthday. It accompanied his college career, accompanied him to Beijing, and accompanied him to fame. In the eyes of fans, this guitar was inseparable from Lu Chen. Thank you. Lu Chen took down the microphone and stood up. Facing the tens of thousands of audience, he said, "Thank you for accompanying me to sing this song, You Who Sat Next to Me. In the blink of an eye, for years have passed, and we have all grown up. No matter how much regret you have, no matter how helpless you feel, please remember that I will always be with you." The next song is Lost Years. The applause started but quickly subsided, because no one wanted to miss a single second of Lu Chen's singing. It was still his solo performance, and it was still the same nostalgic ballad that touched the heartstrings, but for Lu Chen's fans, it was the sound of their hearts that they would never get tired of. Flowers with snow falling in the wind germinate in our memories. Those red and green colors are our youth. Our ambitions are limitless, but in the blink of an eye, we have already gone our separate ways. Walking alone on the street, I can only see the sunset. Time is like flowing water, urging us to grow up. Our young hearts have turned white. It was as if he was not in a stadium with 80,000 people, as if he was not sitting on a huge stage, as if there were not so many lights and cameras around. It was as if Lu Chen was in the Forget Grass Bar, sitting in front of the live microphone and camera. He was concentrating on playing the guitar, singing his own song, and telling his own story. Those past stories, the lost youth. Many people were moved when they heard the previous song You Who Sat Next to Me, but when they heard the song Lost Years, which was far less popular, they unknowingly shed tears. Because what Lu Chen was singing was also their story. In the front row of the audience, Qin Jianhao and Sister Na were holding hands, and their hearts were very emotional. Qin Jianhao and Sister Na were no longer young. They had experienced countless ups and downs, so naturally, they would not be easily moved by anything. But looking at Lu Chen, who was playing and singing on the stage, the two could not help but recall the past related to him. Lu Chen, who had just come to the Forget Grass Bar to work, had never shown his talent in music. Qin Jianhao was willing to take him in mainly because of his outstanding appearance, which could attract some drinkers. If this reason was said now, it would definitely make countless people laugh their teeth off. But at that time, how could Qin Jianhao have thought that in just a few years, Lu Chen would stand in a position that everyone looked up to? Now Qin Jianhao was extremely glad that he had made this friendship with Lu Chen, which allowed him to get a lot. For example, sitting by his side, he needed to protect and respect his wife for a lifetime. At this moment, Sister Na's heart was full of pride. She was proud of Lu Chen, and she was also proud of Lu Chen. She would not tell others that she had once patted Lu Chen's shoulder and praised him for singing well. She had also helped Lu Chen resist the jealousy of other bar singers. She had also secretly stuffed a few hundred yuan into Lu Chen's pocket. She would also not tell others that she had always regarded Lu Chen as her own brother, the kind that was very close. Now, this brother was no longer the slightly immature young man. He had already spread his wings and soared into the sky. But in Sister Na's heart, Lu Chen would always be the little singer who was nervous and trembling when he first appeared on the stage. She gave her blessings for Lu Chen, her sincere blessings. The people of the past, where are you? Now? Are you also looking for the home of your dreams? On a fixed position on the upper right side of the stage, a high-definition digital camera's lens was always aimed at Lu Chen. The picture it shot was not like other cameras, which would be constantly cut to the big screen by the director. The signal of this camera was connected to the internet and was linked to a special live broadcast room of Whale TV. Only people with a specific account could log into this live broadcast room. The number of viewers was not very large, maintained at around 10,000, and it was very special that there was no gift function, nor could they use any props. This was the only online live broadcast point of Lu Chen's first concert in the Olympic sports. It was specially provided for those die-hard Lu Jiejun fans who did not buy tickets, so that they could cheer for Lu Chen at the first moment. Some of these fans could even be traced back to Lu Chen's live broadcast on the Starlight Show. They could be called Lu Chen's most loyal and oldest die-hard fans. And Lu Chen's songs You Who Sat Next to Me and Passing Years brought them both good memories and sad nostalgia. The livestream was quiet. There were no bullet screens flying all over the place, and there were no extravagant gifts. Instead of saying that everyone was listening quietly, it was more accurate to say that they were feeling the pure and clear emotions that the song brought to them. Everything seemed like yesterday, and they only wished that time would stop at this moment forever. There were no gorgeous lights, no beautiful dancers, and even no soundtrack accompaniment. There was only Lu Chen alone, holding the guitar on the stage and singing one folk song after another. You Who Sat Next to Me, The Passing Years, Love in the Wind, Those Flowers. With the guitar in his hand, he led the audience of 83,000 fans to review a period of folk songs, the history of campus folk songs, which made people reminisce and nostalgic. The familiar melody, the familiar voice, and the feelings that have never changed made many people cry. Many fans sang with Lu Chen from You Who Sat Next to Me. Often Lu Chen sang the beginning, and then the whole audience sang the chorus. Such a scene was really rare at a solo concert of a star. The folk songs that carried Lu Chen's glorious years ended with The Bright Times of Youth. He finally put down the guitar. The surrounding lights were dim, and only a spotlight fell on Lu Chen. In the darkness behind him, the staff at the scene were rearranging the stage as quickly as possible. Thank you for singing so many songs with me, Lu Chen said into the microphone. It makes me feel a little embarrassed to ask everyone to pay for tickets. There was a burst of laughter in the audience. Everyone felt very cordial. Lu Chen's words now seemed to be talking to everyone, and the distance between them was rapidly shortened. Lu Chen continued, well, in order to express my gratitude to everyone, all friends here tonight, you will get a mysterious gift. Wow, there was an uproar in the audience. No one thought that there would be a gift for watching the concert tonight. Someone asked loudly, what's the gift? I heard. Lu Chen smiled and pointed in the direction of the voice. This friend asked what the gift is, then of course I won't tell you, otherwise, what's the mystery? Laughter and applause sounded again. Lu Chen made an apologetic gesture. I'm sorry that I can't tell you now, but I promise that this gift is very special and won't disappoint you. But please remember to register your address on the ticketing website with your own account. Otherwise, we won't be able to deliver it. Then next, he looked back and said, Nirvana, please. 5 bright beams of light instantly fell from the dome and fell on the 5 band members behind Lu Chen. Please allow me to introduce you to our lead guitarist, Wang Jing. Wang Jing held her guitar and bowed to the audience. She quickly strummed the strings and played a short and exciting solo. The girl had short hair and wore a checkered shirt. She was clean and neat from head to toe. Coupled with Big's good looks and superb skills, she immediately won a round of enthusiastic cheers from the audience. Guitarist Wang Hui. Bassist Ouyang He. Keyboardist Wen Yuan. And our drummer Yan Xiaoyi. Every time Lu Chen called a name, that person would play a solo, constantly provoking the audience's mood. The predecessor of the Nirvana band was Nirvana Music Studio. At that time, the band was not professional. It was more like playing around. No one knew it when they went out to perform. But since Lu Chen acquired Nirvana, the renamed Nirvana band was like a phoenix rising from the ashes, shining with unprecedented brilliance, quickly standing out in the circle with the name of Lu Chen's Royal Band. In the past 4 years, the members of the Nirvana band have not changed, but the lives of each member have been completely different because of Lu Chen, which can be said to be earth-shaking changes. Wang Jing has a particularly deep feeling about this. Her eyes couldn't help but freeze on Lu Chen in front of her, and her eyes were filled with the light of memories. When she first met Lu Chen, Wang Jing's family's music studio was facing the worst situation. There was no business, lack of funds, and the possibility of closing down at any time. Fortunately, Lu Chen gave them a production contract and completed Lu Chen's solo debut album You Who Sat Next to Me, which completely changed the fate of Nirvana Studios. Although the production level of this album has been criticized by many professionals, thinking that it is completely unworthy of the status of the work in the music industry, but for everyone in Nirvana Studio, it is undoubtedly a glory worth remembering for a lifetime. Then Nirvana Studios merged into Lu Chen Studio, and the Nirvana Band became the Nirvana Band. Recalling the past, it's like a dream. As the lead singer and guitarist of the Nirvana Band, Wang Jing did not forget the help Lu Chen gave her, nor did she forget her secret feelings for Lu Chen. It's just that the current Wang Jing has long buried this feeling deep in the bottom of her heart. To be able to quietly look at Lu Chen and stand behind him, that's enough. Next, I will work with the Nirvana Band. The first song is Cultivating Love. A smile appeared on Wang Jing's lips. This is the first new song tonight and the title song of the special album to be released in April this year by Lu Chen and the Nirvana Band. A song that she likes very, very much. Why should I be disappointed? Hide your tears to the heart. The past will not lie, don't be embarrassed by it. We don't need to be like this, I think, cultivating the sadness of love, learning to let go of the previous desires, our beliefs, how hard it is to forget. This song was not originally on the list of tracks for tonight's concert. When Lu Chen asked Wang Jing to help him sort out the music score, she accidentally found it on Lu Chen's hard disk. This song has unique lyrics, and perhaps it also contains a moving story. What makes Wang Jing's heart palpitate is the kind of subtle, sad, and touching feeling contained in the song. At that time, Wang Jing liked it and tried to suggest it to Lu Chen. Unexpectedly, Lu Chen not only agreed, but also played the song to the Nirvana Band. So there is this moment. Cultivating the joys and sorrows of love, our efforts are not simple. Happiness turns into tears, it's a kind of courage. The fantasy of a few years ago, the forgiveness of a few years later, for a face to heal a body of wounds. Don't say you miss me, I can't stand it. She doesn't know why, but Wang Jing wants to cry. Maybe after crying, her heart will be completely calm. Some memories can't be forgotten, some feelings won't come back after they are lost. Every love is a practice to make the next love better. Maybe it's really like this. But now, she seriously accompanies Lu Chen and sings for him. Note, Cultivating Love lyrics, Xianxia/composer, Lin Xianxia. Before the next song starts, after singing Cultivating Love, Lu Chen's forehead was covered with crystal sweat, but he was in a good mood and didn't have any idea of resting. He smiled at the tens of thousands of audience and said, I'd like to ask everyone to do me a favor. Help? What's the favor? Everyone was very curious, and many people shouted it out directly. Fortunately, Lu Chen didn't keep them in suspense. He immediately went on to say, this favor is actually very simple. First, put down the light sticks and support cards in your hands. The fans immediately did so, as if they had practiced it once. Thank you. Lu Chen said with a smile, now pick up your mobile phone, please turn on the flash, and wave it along with the song. The next moment, the prelude of the music sounded, and everyone instantly understood, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. This song is also one of Lu Chen's classic representative works. It is a milestone from his folk style to light rock and roll, and is deeply loved by countless fans. In the auditorium, thousands of fans raised their mobile phones high, letting the bright lights dance along with the melody of the song, as if they were bright stars in the night sky, interweaving into a gorgeous Milky Way. This scene was clearly recorded by the high-altitude camera, which became one of the most wonderful pictures of tonight's concert, and was imitated by many later singers. The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear the loneliness and sigh in the bottom of the heart of the person who looks up? The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? I pray to have a transparent heart, and eyes that will cry. The brightest star in the night sky first appeared on the stage of Singing China. Lu Chen won the national championship of Singing China with this work, and set foot on the road to superstar. Later, he reinterpreted this song at many music festivals and attracted many fans. The significance of this song for Lu Chen is actually no less than "You Who Sat Next to Me." Looking back on the past 4 years and singing this song again, Lu Chen's heart was filled with a myriad of emotions. When he was curled up on the narrow single bed in the basement, did he ever think that he would become the brightest star in the night sky and be the focus of millions of people? Fate was such a wonderful thing. He knew very well the source of his success, so even though he had unparalleled popularity and endless wealth, he had never lost himself. Only by not forgetting one's original intention could one walk further and more steadily on the road of life. Always believe in the existence of light. Whenever I can't find the meaning of my existence, whenever I'm lost in the darkness, oh the brightest star in the night sky, please illuminate my path. The camera swept across the audience and suddenly stopped on a member of the audience. The young fan hugged his girlfriend tightly in his arms and sang along with tears streaming down his face. He cried and sang heartbreakingly. The flashes of the phones around him reflected the tears on his face. The picture appeared on 3 big screens at the same time, and the audience immediately burst into applause and shouts. No one laughed at his fragility and laughed at him for crying like a child, because people with stories are easily moved by this song. Tears are not shameful. What is shameful is the numbness of the heart. In the night sky tonight, Lu Chen is the brightest star, and the 83,000 spectators in the Olympic Stadium are also releasing their own light. The atmosphere of the scene reached a climax in this song, "The Brightest Star in the Night Sky." When Lu Chen finished singing this song, he faced the audience and closed his eyes, listening to the cheers of everyone. He raised his right hand and pressed it on his chest, feeling his heart, as if it was beating strongly with the 83,000 hearts on the scene. After a long time, Lu Chen opened his eyes, put down his hand and said with a smile, "Wait a moment, I'll be back soon." Nirvana band immediately took over the stage, so that the atmosphere of the scene would not cool down. Backstage, Lu Chen was already sweating. He poured his feelings into every song and sang it with all his heart, without any perfunctory or compromise. Naturally, he consumed a lot of physical strength. However, his long-term practice of martial arts made him fully able to withstand such pressure. "It's wonderful." Chen Fei-er, who was in the backstage, gave Lu Chen a warm hug and said with a smile, "The atmosphere of the scene is so good." Lu Chen kissed his girlfriend on the face and quickly changed into his performance clothes. The Nirvana band had just performed a passionate performance outside, and the brand new Lu Chen appeared again. The applause exploded in an instant, and the audience couldn't wait any longer. Especially Lu Chen's fans, who were reluctant to let Lu Chen leave for even a second. In just a few minutes, their emotions have been brewed to the peak. Cough, cough. Lu Chen coughed twice and asked, "Is everyone ready?" This question is a bit brainless. What are they ready for? But the fans didn't care so much, and immediately replied loudly, "Ready." Lu Chen said with a smile, "Since everyone is ready, let's welcome several big brothers together. They are all good teachers and helpful friends in my life, so the next song will be sung by me and these big brothers. First of all, let's welcome Big Brother Tan Hong." A beam of light shone on the entrance and exit of the backstage. Tan Hong, wearing a suit of casual clothes, waved to the audience with a smile on his face and walked calmly towards Lu Chen. While there was another roar in the stadium of the Olympic Sports Stadium, which was the sound of countless applause and shouts. Tonight, at Lu Chen's first solo concert, Tan Hong's appearance as a guest performance was not too surprising, because in Lu Chen's singing career, Tan Hong's help to him is well known. The friendship between the two was also commendable. Although Tan Hong had already retired from the music industry, he would come to support Lu Chen's solo concert anyway. The two hugged each other, and Tan Hong patted Lu Chen hard on the shoulder. Everything was said without words. Lu Chen continued, "Next, let's welcome Big Brother Lu Gangxing." The applause and noise that had gradually subsided suddenly rose again, almost overturning the dome of the stadium. Lu Gangxing was the #1 superstar in Hong Kong, as well as a superstar in film, television, and singing. He was an evergreen tree in the entertainment industry. In terms of domestic popularity, he surpassed Tan Hong. Lu Chen invited 2 big stars at once, and people couldn't help but look forward to the songs they collaborated on. But it was not over yet. After hugging Lu Gangxing, Lu Chen said, "The last Big Brother Liao Jia." 3 big brothers, plus Lu Chen, a total of 4 big stars. If they performed a song together, no matter what song it would definitely be recorded in the history of Chinese music. Lu Chen, Tan Hong, Lu Gangxing and Liao Jia, 4 big figures in the singing world, stood on the stage together, leaving only shock to the 83,000 audience at the scene. The stars had never been so bright. The age gap between Lu Chen and his 3 brothers was at least 20 years. The 3 of them were his real seniors, and Tan Hong, Lu Gangxing, and Liao Jia all had unique achievements in different fields of the music industry. However, when Lu Chen stood with them, he was not inferior at all. He was more like a successor. Before they started singing, the atmosphere of the audience had reached its peak. It was simply crazy. Lu Chen, Tan Hong, Lu Gangxing, Liao Jia. Thousands of audience shouted the names of the 4 people, and many fans were so excited that they cried. How lucky they were, Lu Gangxing said with a smile. Thank you, everyone. You are so enthusiastic. It makes me feel that I'm not old yet. Tan Hong laughed. You will always be 18 years old. This was a joke. Lu Gangxing participated in a singing competition on Hong Kong satellite TV when he was 18 years old, thus announcing his debut in the music industry. Decades later, a reporter asked him if he had ever thought about retiring from the music industry. He replied humorously, as long as there are fans who are willing to listen to my songs, I will always be 18 years old. Lu Gangxing expressed his love for music in this way. Even if the years passed and he was old, this infatuation had never changed, just like when he was 18 years old. Those who were familiar with Lu Gangxing all knew this joke and immediately laughed. Lu Gangxing said, "Why don't you learn from me? You will be so disappointed if you quit so early." The two had known each other for many years. Although one was in Hong Kong and the other was in the mainland, they had a deep friendship. Tan Hong shook his head and replied, I'm really old and can't sing anymore. I'm not as energetic as you. Hey, Liao Jia, who was next to them, was dissatisfied. Are you two here to support us or to chat? Do you still want to sing? Lu Gangxing and Tan Hong looked at each other and smiled. The former said they would sing, and the latter nodded. As expected of the 2 big brother-level figures, they were able to easily control the atmosphere of the scene with just a few words. This kind of ability to control the situation was really not just for show. However, Lu Chen would never feel like he was being overshadowed by the noisy guests. He was happy to see his brothers perform freely. Liao Jia was satisfied. That's right. It's rare for everyone to gather, so let's have a good time. He strode to Nirvana and took the bass from Xianxia. Lu Gangxing took over the position of drummer, Tan Hong was the keyboard player, and Lu Chen was the guitar player. A temporary Heavenly King band was formed. Lu Chen looked at his brothers. When they were all ready, he said to the microphone, a new song will be sung by me and my 3 brothers. True Hero. I hope everyone likes it. The appearance of True Hero was really unexpected. Tonight was Lu Chen's first concert. At the beginning of the preparation, Lu Chen was thinking about which friend in the circle to invite as a guest. He actually had a lot of choices. However, what he didn't expect was that before he opened his mouth to invite, Lu Gangxing and Liao Jia took the initiative to contact him. Even Tan Hong, who had long retired, called. According to them, how could little brother Lu Chen not come to support such an important performance? Lu Chen couldn't refuse these 3 people in any case, especially when they were so enthusiastic. So he had a brainwave and simply pulled out the song True Hero from his memory. The 4 of them sang together. After Tan Hong, Lu Gangxing and Liao Jia read the music score, they agreed to Lu Chen's proposal without any objection. So, there was a shocking and exciting scene in tonight's concert. Lu Chen, in my heart, there was a dream. I wanted to sing to make you forget all the pain. Lu Gangxing, under the bright starry sky, who is the real hero? Ordinary people move me the most. Tan Hong, no more hate, no more pain. I hope that there are traces of love everywhere in the world. Liao Jia, use our song in exchange for your sincere smile. Chorus, I wish that your life will be different from now on. This song True Hero was a real inspirational work. Not only was the melody moving, but the lyrics were also full of incomparable positive energy. It made people feel emotional. Lu Chen's voice was clean and energetic. Lu Gongxing's voice was heroic and powerful. Tan Hong's voice was full of emotion and his singing skills were top-notch. Liao Jia's voice was full of vicissitudes with optimism. When the four people's voices alternated, it added a special charm to the work. Although it was a completely new song, it deeply moved all the audience and fans present. At this time, no one applauded or shouted. Everyone held their breath and listened attentively, for fear of missing any note or missing even a second of precious memory. Especially the star artists sitting in the front row of the VIP seats, they were all extremely focused and serious. It was as if they were on a pilgrimage. Lu Chen, seize every minute of life. Liao Jia, do our best to realize the dream in our hearts. Tan Hong, how can we see the rainbow without experiencing the wind and rain? Lu Gangxing, no one can succeed easily. The four top stars of the singing industry were playing and singing together. They were very relaxed and had a tacit understanding with each other. They exchanged glances and smiled at each other, vividly performing the rich connotation of this song True Hero. Let the sincere words and happy tears flow in our hearts. When the four of them sang the last line together, Liao Jia suddenly performed a passionate solo, which immediately triggered a tsunami of cheers from the audience. The celebrity guests sitting in the front first stood up and applauded, followed by everyone in the audience. The applause was like a surging tide, repeatedly crashing and roaring in the main stadium of the Olympic Sports Stadium. Such an atmosphere was really hard to describe with words. Only those who were in it could feel it the most. They were really excited to the point that their scalps went numb, their faces flushed, and their bodies trembled. Even the most shy people couldn't help but go crazy. This was the charm of the top stars, and the charm of classic pop music. Awesome! Liao Jia roared after the solo performance ended, waving his long hair like a roaring lion. Even a rational and calm person like Tan Hong couldn't help but be moved. He said, I really can't bear to leave. Lu Gangxing smiled and said, if you can't bear to, we can sing again next time. We might as well form a band. Lu Chen laughed. I raised both hands in approval. Inadvertently, the 83,000 audience at the venue witnessed a period of history in the Chinese pop music industry. The Bloodstained line, later known as Asia's most heavenly band, went from a joke to a reality. Although this band only lasted for 2 years, it left the most classic memory for countless fans. Note, lyricist/composer of True Hero, Li Zongxing. This chapter is dedicated to the memory of the Bloodstained line band. Tonight, the 83,000 audience in the main stadium of the Beijing Olympic Sports Center experienced a journey of surprise, emotion, excitement, and reluctance. They were pleasantly surprised that Lu Chen, Tan Hong, Lu Gangxing, and Liao Jia joined hands to sing together, allowing everyone to witness the birth of a heavenly band, longitudinal line. They were moved by the inspirational and hot-blooded new song True Hero, but they were reluctant to see the three big brothers leave the stage. It was likely that this would be the only time and the same scene would not be repeated, although all the audience and fans shouted in unison, hoping that they could return for a comeback. It was a pity. And Lu Chen's solo debut concert continued. For the audience, time passed too quickly. Lu Chen took them to review his musical journey, from folk to light rock, to love songs, and finally to China style. In more than 3 hours, he sang a total of 29 works. Usually, a performance lasted about 3 to 4 hours, and there were about 30 songs. Most of these works came from Lu Chen's 3 albums, You Who Sat Next to Me, The Ordinary Road, and Lu Chen. There were a total of 2 new songs, all composed by Lu Chen, covering all of his classic works, allowing the fans to enjoy a feast of music. However, the concert also came to an end. Lu Chen changed his clothes 3 times and his voice was a bit hoarse. His singing and seriousness to his work consumed too much energy and emotion, but he still persisted with high spirit. The next song, holding the microphone, Lu Chen said in a deep voice, it's a bit special, because it's not for you, but for the person I love the most. Before he finished, a fan immediately shouted, Chen Fei-er. Who else could Lu Chen's favorite be besides Chen Fei-er? Is he going to confess in public? Today is Valentine's Day. At the beginning, Lu Chen chose to set his debut concert on this special day. Fans, including many media, were speculating that Lu Chen would probably propose to Chen Fei-er on the spot. The two had been in love for 4 years and had always been regarded as the best couple in the entertainment industry. This relationship that everyone envied was about to blossom and bear fruit. With the popularity and status of Lu Chen and Xianxia in the circle, marriage would not affect their careers. Wrong guess. Lu Chen laughed and denied it. He smiled and said, "The person I love the most is my mother. She is sitting in the middle of you now. I want to use this song to express my love and gratitude to her." The cameras on the scene pointed to the middle of the first row of the VIP seats in time, and focused on Feng Yun, who was sitting there. Her eyes were full of tears, and there was a gratified smile on her face. For years ago, Feng Yun never thought that there would be such a day. She would sit in a venue with tens of thousands of people to watch her son's concert and share the glory of Lu Chen with everyone. Her heart was full of pride. On the left side of Feng Yun sat Xianxia. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law held hands and looked very intimate. On the right side were Lu Shi and Lu Shui. The whole family appeared in the camera. "Mother Lu." The audience burst into warm applause in an instant, cheering for Feng Yun. Mother Lu was the nickname of Lu Chen's mother by fans. Everyone expressed their deep gratitude to Mother Lu. Because without Mother Lu, there would be no Lu Chen, and there would be no surprise and touching everyone today by Lu Chen. When you are old, and your hair is white, and you are drowsy. When you are old, and you can't walk, and you take a nap by the fire, and remember your youth, how many loved you in your youth, how many admired your beauty, whether they were sincere or fake, but only one person still loves your pious soul. The song that Lu Chen sang for Feng Yun was the song that everyone was familiar with, "When You Are Old." It was not the first time that he sang for his mother, but the meaning of this song was different. Sitting in front of the piano, Lu Chen played and sang. His voice was deep and calm, but it contained deep gratitude and love, and it also touched the heartstrings of everyone. Many fans spontaneously hummed along. Only one person still loves your pious soul, and loves the wrinkles on your old face, when you are old, and your eyes droop, and the light is dim and flickering. The wind blows, and your news, this is the song in my heart. There was no sad nostalgia, no wanton madness, no burning excitement, there was only warmth and touching, and the atmosphere of the scene was brought into another world. When I am old, I really hope that this song is for you. When Lu Chen finished singing the last sentence, he stood up and bowed deeply to Feng Yun. Thank you, Mom. The applause of the audience was thunderous. This was the most warm and touching scene of the whole concert tonight. But what about the song that everyone had been looking forward to? Obviously, Lu Chen would not let his fans down. He adjusted his mood a little, and then said, "This song, When You Are Old, is for my mother, the person I love the most, and the following song, it is for the most important person in my life. Xianxia." This time, the audience did not make a mistake. Thousands of fans shouted in unison, and it was very loud and clear. The camera lens was also synchronized to the shy Xianxia. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Yes, the name of this song is I Only Care About You." His eyes crossed the distance between the stage and the audience, and met Xianxia's eyes with tears. "You are the most important person in my life. If I didn't meet you, where would I be? How life is, whether life should be cherished. Maybe I know someone, living an ordinary life. I don't know if there will be love as sweet as honey. Let time not rush. I only care about you. I am willing to be infected with your breath. How many people can find a confidant in life? It's not a pity to lose the strength of life." This was a love song of affectionate confession. It had a beautiful melody and profound and meaningful lyrics. It was a sincere heart and monologue, a sentimental and firm belief in love. The style of I Only Care About You was very retro, inclined to love songs of the 80s and 90s. The arrangement and accompaniment were very simple, which could be said to be quite unlike Lu Chen. But it was precisely this simplicity that could directly hit people's hearts and awaken the yearning and touching of the audience for love. It was undoubtedly one of the most suitable songs to be sung on this special day. "So I beg you, don't let me leave you, except for you, I can't feel a trace of love." In the song, Xianxia could no longer hold back his tears. Note, I Only Care About You lyricist, Shinji/composer, Takashi Miki. Perhaps only the appearance of the song I Only Care About You could make the atmosphere of the concert in the evening fully match today's special day. The warmth, sweet love and deep attachment made everyone smile from the bottom of their hearts. When Lu Chen finished singing the song, He stepped down from the stage step by step and walked to the front row of the VIP seats. He walked to Chen Fei'er. All the cameras at the scene were aimed at Lu Chen, recording his image from different angles and constantly switching on the big screen, as if some sacred ceremony was being held. The 83,000 audience at the scene seemed to realize something. Everyone held their breath, no one shouted, and even put down their mobile phone glow sticks and stared with wide eyes. At this moment, no one noticed that on the big stage, the Nirvana band quietly reappeared. Along with the Nirvana band, there were 3 beautiful and lovely girls. MSN. When Lu Chen finally stood in front of Chen Fei'er, a piano prelude sounded, and then Mu Xiaochu's sweet singing, like clear spring water, flowed into everyone's ears with joy and joy. The Seine River, the coffee on the left bank, I hold a cup in my hand, tasting your beauty. The mouth that leaves a lip print, the rose in the flower shop, whose name was written wrongly? The confession balloon, the wind blows across the street. Flying in the sky with a smile. You said you were a bit difficult to pursue, and wanted me to retreat in the face of difficulties. You don't have to choose the most expensive gift, just the fallen leaves of the fragrant pavilion. Oh, creating a romantic date, not afraid to mess up everything, having you means having the world. With the singing of Mu Xiaochu and the addition of the harmony of the other 2 members of MSN, the lights arranged on the dome of the Olympic Sports Center lit up, and a series of intertwined lights fell on the big stage and the audience. Countless colorful heart-shaped balloons fell from the sky. Ah! The fans couldn't help but cry out in surprise, especially those girls who liked romance. They were so excited that their eyes were shining. They stood up in unison and used their hands to catch the balloons falling from the air. On the 3 big screens, images of roses appeared at the same time. Lu Chen extended his hand to Chen Fei'er and asked with a smile, "This is another gift I gave you tonight. Do you like it?" Chen Fei'er's pretty face showed a hint of shyness. She coquettishly rolled her eyes at Lu Chen, then stretched out her hand. This gift was really unique. It could be considered a surprise. Lu Chen led Chen Fei'er back to the stage. The 3 girls of MSN retreated into the shadows at the same time, giving the stage to the 2 people. Their singing became very light and became the background sound. But it was still sweet and moving. Lu Chen pulled Chen Fei'er to stand under the spotlight, and they became the focus of the audience again. Facing Chen Fei'er, he knelt down on one knee and took out a jewelry box from his pocket. The whole place was so silent that even a pin drop could be heard. Many fans even clenched their fists and covered their mouths, for fear that they would shout out in excitement. Lu Chen opened the box and revealed the custom-made diamond ring inside. He raised his head and looked up at Chen Fei'er tenderly, and asked, "Will you marry me? Will you marry me?" Perhaps she had been mentally prepared, or perhaps she had foreseen this moment, but when these words came out of Lu Chen's mouth, Chen Fei'er still couldn't control her feelings and shed crystal tears. She looked at Lu Chen, who was kneeling in front of her, with tears in her eyes, and countless past events came to her heart. Those heartwarming, sweet, sorrowful feelings. For a moment, Chen Fei'er was stunned. Then the song urged her, "Darling, don't be capricious, your eyes are saying that I do, say yes. Say yes. Say yes." The fans in the audience went crazy directly. Almost everyone stood up and raised their arms and shouted, "Say yes. Will you marry me?" Chen Fei'er suddenly came to her senses. She nodded with a smile and said with tears in her eyes, "I do." "Will you marry me?" "I do." Applause and cheers exploded again. It was unprecedentedly intense and turbulent. Many fans were so excited that their faces were red. Only by shouting to their heart's content could they vent their excitement at this moment. The second wave of balloons floated down from the sky, and all of them were pink. At the center of the stage, Lu Chen put the diamond ring on Chen Fei'er's ring finger and made a lifelong promise. He stood up, held Chen Fei'er in his arms, and lowered his head to kiss her. When he touched Chen Fei'er's soft and fragrant lips, the past memories unfolded in Lu Chen's mind like a scroll of a painting. Those scenes filled his heart with the taste of happiness. There was also deep gratitude. Lu Chen was grateful to fate for giving him the memory of a world and the person he loved all his life. He hugged Chen Fei'er, who had become his wife, tightly. This moment was destined to be eternal. Countless flashes lit up, which were taken by the 83,000 people in the audience with their mobile phones. In the shadow of the stage, only 10 meters away from Lu Chen and Chen Feier, Mu Xiaochu looked at the two of them with a smile, but her tears couldn't stop flowing. Although she desperately told herself that this was the result she had always wanted to see, when the result really appeared in front of her, she still cried, laughing and crying alone in the darkness. Maybe one day in the future, when she recalled this moment, she would feel very embarrassed and feel that she was very stupid, but at least for now, she didn't regret it. In the corner of the north stand of the auditorium, Yi Zitong was also smiling, but there were no tears in her eyes. In her heart, she was happy for the man she once liked, but did not have the fate to be with, to find his own happiness, and silently sent her blessings. There was no jealousy, no sadness, maybe a little regret, but time had long erased those unwillingness and regret, leaving only beautiful memories. Buying the tickets for tonight's concert was a coincidence, maybe it was also God's arrangement. In any case, she was here and saw it, and that was enough. The woman in a white dress quietly got up and left quietly, not disturbing anyone. In the VIP seats, Li Mushi whispered to Tian, who was sitting next to her, "Do you want to cry? I can lend you my shoulder to lean on, and I can accompany you to the bar at night to drown your sorrows, how about it?" The two met because of Lu Chen, and their relationship was not very close, but Li Mushi was a little interested in Tian, so tonight, she deliberately sat with Tian. And she knew that Tian liked Lu Chen. When whispering to Tian, it was as if there was an invisible tail wagging behind Li Mushi. Tian smiled and shook her head, and her eyes flashed with bright light. No one knew what she was thinking in her heart at this moment. On Valentine's Day, February 14, 2019, Lu Chen proposed to Chen Feier at his solo concert in front of the 83,000 audience. The 4 years of love between the two had the most beautiful ending. Note: Confession balloon lyrics. Fang Wenshan / composer. Zhou Jieluan. A trace of throbbing from the heart made Lu Chen wake up from his sleep. When he opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was Chen Feier's pretty face bathed in the morning light. She was staring at Lu Chen with an indescribable gentleness in her eyes. Although she didn't put on any makeup, she was extremely charming. Seeing that Lu Chen had woken up, her face blushed faintly, and she was as shy as an innocent girl. Lu Chen couldn't help but lean over and kiss her on the cheek. He smiled and said, "Good morning, honey." Although the legal procedure hadn't been completed yet, from the moment he put the diamond ring on Chen Feier's finger last night, the two had already made a lifelong commitment. Therefore, Lu Chen called her honey very naturally, and it felt very good. Well, Chen Feier pursed her lips and replied, "Good morning, honey." Lu Chen was overjoyed. This was the first time that Chen Feier had called him honey. It was a historic breakthrough. Even if the two were no different from a real husband and wife, such a mushy dialogue still made Chen Feier feel a little uncomfortable. She quickly lifted the quilt and got out of bed. She said, "I'm going to make breakfast." Lu Chen watched his beloved escape from the bedroom like a little rabbit and couldn't help but laugh. He laughed a little foolishly, but he looked very happy. He got up and washed up. When he went to the small dining room in the outer room, the table was already filled with hot milk, sandwiches, and eggs. There were also buns and rice porridge and other sumptuous breakfast dishes. Since she was pregnant, Chen Feier had turned down all her work arrangements and focused on raising the baby at home. She had nothing to do, so she began to teach herself how to cook. She bought a lot of gourmet recipes and practiced them at home. Although her current cooking skills were still not good, there was no problem for her to make breakfast. "I'll eat first." Lu Chen sat straight down on the seat. Smelling the fragrance of the milk and rice porridge, he had a great appetite. He picked up the chopsticks and ate quickly. While eating, he turned on his phone and browsed the blog. The most romantic proposal on Valentine's Day. Lu Chen proposes to Chen Feier, for years of romance bear fruit. Last night, we witnessed a romantic affair. Unsurprisingly, Lu Chen's first solo concert at the Olympic Sports Center and his proposal to Chen Feier became the hottest topic on the blog. And on the homepage of Waves, the top 5 most popular topics were all related to him. This grand solo concert, coupled with the extremely romantic proposal process, caused an unprecedented heated response on the internet. Countless fans came to his blog and sent their blessings. Lu Chen's lips curled into a smile as he read through these messages. "Don't play with your phone while eating." Chen Feier walked out with a plate of freshly fried eggs and pouted, "How many times have I told you?" Lu Chen immediately put down his phone and saluted his wife. "Yes, ma, I am." After a warm breakfast, Lu Chen took Chen Feier with him and left the house. Because there was a very, very important thing that needed to be done today. That was to register. As Lu Chen's household registration was still in Binhai, he had to fly to Binhai with Chen Feier to get their marriage certificate. At the same time, he would also attend his second solo concert in Hangzhou on the evening of the 17th. However, before that, Lu Chen still needed to go back to the headquarters of Chen Fei Media because there were several guests from thousands of miles away visiting in the morning to discuss an important contract. "Look." On the way to the company, Chen Feier suddenly grabbed Lu Chen's arm, pointed outside the car and said, "That's our OFO shared bike." Lu Chen turned his head and looked in the direction of her finger. He saw more than a dozen unique and brightly colored bicycles lined up neatly on the sidewalk by the road. The OFO logo was particularly eye-catching. Since February 12, as the creator of the pilotless bike-sharing model, OFO shared bikes had been launched in Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, Shanghai, Shaoqing, and other first-tier cities in China. This opened the hot prelude to the sharing economy. Chen Feier said proudly, "Mushy and sister, she have speculated that after our company goes public, its market value will be at least $5 billion US. At that time I will be richer than you." The idea of OFO shared bikes was Lu Chen's idea, but he did not invest in it. It was jointly founded by Li Mushi, Lu Shi, and Chen Feier. Lu Chen said with a smile, "At that time I will depend on you." Chen Feier smiled and gently leaned her head on Lu Chen's shoulder. She said, "I really want to raise you at home, so that other girls won't see you and you won't make other girls sad." Lu Chen suddenly felt guilty. Fortunately, they soon arrived at the company. The faraway guests who visited Chen Fei Media were 3 representatives from Hollywood Lion Pictures in the United States. They flew thousands of miles to Beijing to sign 2 contracts with Lu Chen. One was a licensing contract. Lion Pictures was preparing to film the UD-725 incident on the big screen this year. The film was tentatively named Flying Over the Pacific and was expected to invest $150 million US. Since Lu Chen was the most important person in the incident of Flight UD-725, this film based on a real event needs to be authorized by him. As for the other contract, it was an actor's contract. Lion Pictures invited Lu Chen to play the male lead of Flying Over the Pacific with $12 million US and a 5% share of the global box office. In China, many stars and actors wanted to break into the world's top circle of Hollywood, but most of them failed. Only a few of them were familiar with the industry, but few succeeded. No matter who it was, they had never received such high treatment like Lu Chen. Once these 2 contracts, especially the actor's contract, were revealed, one could imagine how big a sensation it would cause, but for Lu Chen, this contract represented huge benefits and reputation. It was far less important than the certificate he was going to apply for at most a few yuan. Therefore, after meeting with the senior representatives of Lion Pictures, he left the specific reception and negotiation work to Lu Shi. He took Chen Feier on the journey back to Binhai. At the moment when the plane took off, Chen Feier suddenly held Lu Chen's hand and asked in a low voice, "Honey, will you love me forever?" Lu Chen nodded hard. "Yes, I will love you forever." After the end of the national concert tour, he and Chen Feier would hold a wedding on Love Island, and then wait for the birth of their first child. His life was perfect and flawless. The plane flew straight into the sky, towards the infinite beautiful future. End of the book, end of chapter 911. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video to support the channel.